All right, well, I gotta start this video off with kind of it's a weird video, right? I mean, it was a fun game, a lot of good stuff happening, and then Jordan Love getting injured right at the end here, just on kind of just trying to keep a play alive, give themselves a chance at a Hail Mary, which just sucks. I still think it's fair to, like, make a video talking about, like, I didn't think this was a great game by Jordan Love. I think he did some nice stuff in it. I think it was an up and down game. He was able to walk off the field with some help, but still, that's a good sign. Hopefully, it was just kind of nothing awful. Looked like it was his ankle. I'm not a doctor. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's have some fun talking about the, very fascinating Jordan Love performance. Let's just get into it. Let's start off with this play. Kind of a simple play, but a good one. It's a cover 2 man play that the Eagles will be running. So for Jordan Love, it's find a one-on-one matchup that you like. And here's the interesting thing about the Packers and kind of why they worked so well last year and why it's going to work on this play as well is you think about them and you think, okay, well, do they have that like number one superstar wide receiver, typically the guy you look for on a 3rd and 8 to win? Well, they have just a lot of different guys who can win. So for Love, he can oftentimes just pick which defensive back he wants to go against because he has several guys that he trusts. So on this play, when he's going to look in that direction, I'm not saying I would necessarily think this is horrible coverage or anything, but it's a good route by Dobbs. And, Dobbs doing a good job of being able to get himself open enough for there to be some separation. And for Jordan Love, you're going to see him be very accurate with this throw and are able to pick up a nice completion there to not just get the first down, but to get the first down and then some on a play like this. Unfortunately, they weren't able to score on this drive. They ended up having the 4th and 6, which they wanted to go for, but then their penalty, a crazy thing. That was also the drive with the both teams 12 men on the field penalty. But, it's just the sort of philosophy. This is how the Packers like to do things on these obvious passing situations. This sequence was, quite frankly, just hilarious. So, I'm going to be honest, not the best sequence, I think, by Jordan Love. But in a ways, it was. Let's talk about it. It's a zone coverage concept that the Philadelphia Eagles are in right here. When Love takes a snap, watch him. You're going to see him kind of stumble a little bit. I do wonder if that stumble is going to affect things a little bit. It does look like he got his feet planted, but maybe couldn't fully get his feet where he wants them to be. I don't know. Here's what I think the bigger issue is, though. So you see where he's going to ultimately throw the football to Josh Jacobs. You see the Eagles player who's kind of a little bit further deep, who's defending this route. Jordan Love, you see where he's looking. I don't even know if he's seeing what's happening right here. I think he's just going to kind of blindly throw it here. Watch as he just kind of tosses one up, and that could have been a pick 6. Now, granted, I'm assuming he thought that Jacobs was going to flatten that route out a little bit, or at least have his head turned. They haven't played together. There is that communication aspect. I kind of understand why Jacobs was deciding to go further down the field as, he wasn't really open at that point. But either way, for Jordan Love, you got to be aware of this stuff. This is a bad play, quite frankly, and he was very lucky this wasn't 6 points the other way. And then on the very next play, this would happen, where it's again cover 3 zone by the Eagles, and you see the route that Love is going to want to throw to, as the only wide receiver towards the top of the screen is going to run a deep shot, hopefully pushing the corner further deep, and then you can throw a route that's going to be over the linebacker, but underneath the corner who has now been pushed further back. But again, when this play begins, Love is looking in this direction now, but when he fires, I mean, it's just not open. Like, this is one that you don't make, essentially. It was covered up nicely by Philadelphia, and this is a play that, quite frankly, Love should have read. As you see, this one, was a very well thrown football, and kind of the good accuracy, I think, sort of saved him right there. So you got to give him credit for, if you're going to make the throw, you got to hit your spot, because if that was a little bit low or a little bit high, it was going to be intercepted. It being a perfect throw basically just resulted in an incompletion. Wasn't worth the risk, but hey, at least it wasn't a disaster. So now 3rd down and 10. Okay, the Eagles should have had a pick 6, and then nearly had another interception. Can they get something here? Well, no. Here's how this play works. It's again, zone coverage play for the Eagles. They Love keeps throwing it right at you when you run this coverage. Why change things? But when this play begins, this is just going to be a blown coverage. There's no other way to talk about it. I mean, you see how you have Jordan Reed running a route that's open over the middle. CJ Gardner-Johnson just isn't picking him up, and he has to. I mean, you have to know as a safety, the deep routes crossing from one side to the other are like the main routes you have to cover up. It's not like there's another guy and someone else blows this. It really is his fault. And while, of course, it's easy to sit here and say, wow, Jordan Love, I mean, throws should be 2 interceptions, and now he has a guy wide open. And while that's not untrue, he did do a good job at stepping up in the pocket, extending this play a little bit, and he is off balance. But also, he is going to throw to a wide open wide receiver who, does a great job to pick up even more than, just what was there, makes a move, and is able to get into the end zone for a touchdown. Also, a little bit of editing in real time. It's not Jordan Reed. It's Jaden Reed, of course. Jordan Reed was the tight end for the for the Washington football team a couple years ago. But yeah, good job by Jaden Reed to make a guy miss on top of a well-ran route. Got to give them credit, even if yes, it was a bit of a nice situation. Hey, yes, it was a mistake. Good teams take advantage for their opponents' mistakes. Good job there. And then it just had some, I thought, off plays, I guess is the way I would describe it. Plays that they didn't look quite right. So, first this one, Jordan Love is going to take the snap. He's going to get an open receiver and just kind of whiffs on the throw. It's pretty low. And then this one, this happened a few times, actually, where the throw, you could argue, is a bit behind, but still, one that is very catchable, doesn't get caught. There were a decent amount of drops. It was a very weird game. I mean, it felt very like preseason at times with some of this stuff. Although, again, of course, there were plenty of good plays as well to be had offensively. I mean, you could say it's bad defense if you want to, but this play is, to me, just good offense, where it's a man coverage concept that the Eagles are in. The concept that the Packers are running towards the offense's left isn't anything too fancy. A couple of routes going closer towards the middle of the field, and then one going more towards the sideline. But what I find interesting about it, and this is the Matt LaFleur kind of specialty of just adding little wrinkles to these plays to make them work so much better. Watch as when it begins, you see how Reed is going to be running a route where he's, doing what you expect him to do, get towards the sideline, and you could even decide to make this throw if you wanted to. But what I find really interesting about this is if you look at Christian Watson on this play, he's going a little slowly, and both him and his teammate towards his left are going a little bit slowly. They're essentially waiting for that Philadelphia player to get taken out of the play, just to give an easier window for Jordan Love when they cut over the middle. Then it'll have at least enough time to do that. So then when Watson does cut, it's open. It's not wide open, but this is a good route by Christian Watson. So for Love, it makes sense to make this throw. It's a good throw, a good catch, and they get into the end zone for a touchdown. Really a lot of good stuff here by the Green Bay Packers on this one. And again, this is, you can sit here and say on some of these plays, throwing to wide open guys. This is not that. This is really good scheme by LaFleur, good throw by Jordan Love, and good route by Christian Watson. Then we have this interception midway through the third quarter, which was, obviously it's an interception. It's never going to be an ideal play, but let's talk about what happened. It's actually strangely similar to Jalen Hurts' interception that happened in the first quarter, even same sides of the field, going the same direction, same coverage, and same route. But a little difference here is that for the Eagles, they have a player all the way towards the top of the screen who's going to end up covering the tight end due to the way this concept is designed to work. However, when this play begins, forget about all that for a second. I want to talk about why this play goes wrong for Love. You see, and I talked about this earlier, you see it again, he's looking towards the top of the screen. He's not looking where he wants to throw the ball just quite yet. He then gets over there, which a lot of times is good. A lot of times on these types of situations, it can, get the safety out of position, all that good stuff. But the issue is that Reed Blankenship, the safety on this one, is already going over the middle because he read the play, realized that his the tight end could be potentially open, and is trying to make a play. Jordan Love didn't see that because he's using his eyes to try and get the safety out of position, and in turn, it backfired. He did not get the safety out of position, and now he doesn't read that Blankenship is rushing in. Because, if you look at Love, the ball's already out of his hand at this point, but also, you look at where he's looking to throw, that part makes sense, right? The Eagles defender can't even see the ball at this point. Like this part, totally valid. It's just you have to pay attention to the safety as well. Love didn't read it. Also, this is a great play by Blankenship. This play was not Love's worst throw of the night. It just wasn't. It was the worst, unfortunate outcome, but definitely not his worst throw of the night. But also, this isn't a good play, too, and I think a lot of it is with how well some of these concepts were working. I think it's got to be frustrating for LaFleur on some of the stuff where it's like, don't try to do too much. Just, these plays are working. Let them work, I think. So, yeah, not a great play by Love. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Again, I thought it was a good. There was good moments here for Jordan Love. It was not a great day. I think, quite frankly, he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. I think they want a little bit more out of him than just this. So yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.